Elliott Wilson responds to the Cameron After It Is What It Is podcast diss. Let's see what it is, and let's go.
I have a debate show, bigger picture. I have a hip-hop interview show. My first solo one with my name branding, my name, Elliott Wilson experience. And it's going to take time.
What happened to B-Dot? Y'all good? Okay. I'm not complaining. I wasn't really checking for y'all, but I wonder what happened with that.
For me to build these things to have the level of success that's going to satisfy me, but I can't be frustrated that it didn't come right away and then point my finger at my peers and say, you don't deserve this, you don't deserve this.
Well, but that seems to be your pattern. Say that again. Okay, I want to make sure.
Frustrated that it didn't come right away.
Say that
These
again.
things to have the level of success that's going to satisfy me, but I can't be frustrated that it didn't come right away and then point my finger at my peers and say, you don't deserve this, you don't deserve this.
Well, it looks like you're definitely, I don't know what happened to you in the other pod, but either you're sober or you recovered from your dental work or whatever happened. I don't know. But you definitely see more clear this time. I appreciate that. And you're a hater. I'm your biggest hater. I hate the way you walk, the way you talk. I hate the way that you dress. Like, you are a hater, Elliott. You got to embrace it, dog, or you got to let that go. You got to be one of the two. Like, I don't know. But
I'm glad you actually mentioned that. And like our January,
something in the news
brothers,
going on?
You know
how you get.
We're coming in hot this year.
I'm glad you actually mentioned that because
Look how I set up your episode. Look how good. Look how
Hey,
set you
he
up.
said, we see the opening, we're going to go for it.
Who but you?
you made some rounds this past week.
Thank you for penciling us in, by the way. But he is on his own
No,
press
these are the only two
tour.
I'm doing. I did.
Oh, man.
Oh, okay.
Thanks,
And I'm
man.
doing you guys, and that's
Yay.
it. And this is my redemption clarity of
Okay.
my
It's
situation.
crazy
oh,
how
you
the timing works.
coming, please? You coming, please, already, Elliott? Not even a weekend?
Oh, okay.
Thanks,
And I'm
man.
doing you guys, and that's
Yay.
it. And this is my redemption clarity of
Okay.
my
It's
situation.
crazy how the timing worked out. So yes, we want to talk to you
It
about
wasn't my
something.
intent. I didn't plan it out.
Well,
This is
you went for the right one, as they normally say.
I did the
because
worst one. I know never to bother 50, but why did I pick the
Cam
almost
is-
damn equal?
Like Cam right
They
there.
are equal,
Neck and neck.
actually.
Mason's
I picked the
petty
worst one.
too.
You decided to use
I didn't
Cam.
decide. That's the problem. It just kind of
just
came
flowed
out.
But you
it just
said
came
it.
out. I didn't. It
There's
was
something in his liquor. Yeah. I don't know, man. Blame it on the girls. Guys feeling loose. Blame it on the show. Guys in his zone. Blame it on the Maybe. It's all speculation.
no preparation.
No preparation. This was just on your heart, and you had to say, "Hey, Cam, Mace, I don't fuck with what you're doing."
No, he said-
Stephen A's like,
You said their show sucks. Like, you
No, I
said
did.
that.
I did. I
You said it's not
Okay.
good.
You did.
You
did.
You're
It
saying,
is their
you're saying
show.
there was no malice behind it, but again, your competitive nature came through.
It just blows my mind that like
Pause.
guys I was like I documented or I had the decisions above their career 20 years ago, and now in the space that I see is similar to my space, and maybe afforded other opportunities I may not be afforded because of this celebrity. But then to take it back somewhat. And again, I'm not going to formally apologize because I'm going to let Cam possibly kick my back in again or whatever
that's
he's going to do.
First of all, Paul, second. Yeah, say it with your chest, man. Yeah, I don't want you to apologize. Don't apologize. You said what you said. You meant what you said. Yeah, don't apologize for that. I'm glad you didn't apologize.
We can talk about it after, but I do respect that Cam's origin story when he said this was that he invested his own money into it, right? He put a couple $100,000 in it. He had this vision. He wanted it to look like an ESPN level production.
Yeah.
Build this massive set. We're gonna wear the suits. We're gonna do the optics. That's that. May saw it. He got joined that. He added some money to the thing, and then next thing you know, all these gambling companies offering the big bags, and the gambling companies come where the heat's at with celebrity or with big numbers.
but even
So that's why I feel like I may not be looked at that way. So then there's a little bit of, tension with that viewpoint. But
Jealousy, envy, that, they were able to, within a very, very, very short period of time. Like, I remember when that show just got off the ground. I want to say that was, maybe early 2023? Somewhere around there, late 2022, early 2023. I remember when that show just started. And it just blew up like that. Because Cameron and Mace are very entertaining. And they just so happen to kind of know their stuff too. So, yeah, you was hating. Just, it happens to the best of us. Some people hate. Shout out to Jay-Z Blueprint 2, Kanye in production. I think lost my mind.
You shouldn't mock what they're doing. And then one last thing too, I have respect for Treasure Wilson.
Oh yeah,
That baby. Yeah.
Baby,
she's a journalist, a young journalist, came out of college.
Yep.
And we had a good rapport. And I feel like I don't want to be that OG disappointing these. I know times when you were critical being Reg, where it's like my intentions may have been good, but
were they? Were they good? I don't think they were. I think they were bad intentions.
Somebody you respect like me from your field lets you down if it seems like he's just the older person who's not comfortable with somebody else doing things or somebody else's success, measuring it by your success.
For sure.
So that was a wrong position to take.
That's a good point.
Well, I'm glad you learned that rather quickly.
You didn't even have to tell him or anything.
And not for nothing, E, some people are just good at a lot of sports. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I remember being in high school, middle school, and was like, damn, I'm all right in basketball, but this dude right here is good at football, baseball, track, and it speaks to, like,
I was
Cam
more of a fan of Charles Barkley than Michael Jordan. I wanted Charles Barkley when he was with the Suns to beat Michael Jordan and win the championship. I was a big Charles Barkley fan. I felt everybody was Jordan fan. I mean, I respected Jordan. He was a killer. And, just like Kobe, and I felt like I became more fans of them as they got older because I respected how they were still so dominant in what they did. So I'm a Charles Barkley fan. I think Charles Barkley's now underrated is how great a player he was. Right. Because now Charles Barkley's never going to be what happened after basketball, which he became a massive media personality. Boom. And that defines his legacy.
Full circle.
The second part is a basketball career.
For sure.
It's inside the NBA, it's that. So, and again, I know that players or retired players with retired rappers or whatever, like they have a chance to then do these things just like the athletes. Tom Brady retires, he immediately is going to be offered a broadcasting job at a major situation. So that's no different than what Joe did or Nori did or what Gilly did or what Cam eventually did. Maybe because Cam did it later and Cam was talked about he wasn't going to do it back then, but then found a way to do it. You can step back and say, okay, that's different. But
and they're not.
I think you got to applaud that though. Like you said, I saw the beginning stages of Wallow and Gilly when Wallow was just on IG. Wallow was on IG doing push-ups in the rain. Like I was there from the beginning. Like I saw all these people from Drink Champs, from Joe Budden podcast, when Peter Rosenberg was on it still. Like these people grinded and really did what they had to do to get to where they are. So I think what's weird about what Elliott Wilson's stance was, I mean, he can say the show sucks. That's his opinion. He allowed us to think the show sucks. But it's almost like he thought that they were given the popularity or given the recognition or given the all the things they have obtained. It's like, no, these people, these rappers grinded it out, figured out a formula to give the people what they want and uplift hip-hop or uplift sports talk. Like, that has to be appreciated. Why are we downing these podcasts for wanting to get into that lane? If you're mad that you're not getting the love and respect because you are a journalist, I don't know what the fuck to tell you, nigga. Like, I don't know, maybe be more entertaining, nigga. I don't know what to tell you, nigga. Like, hey, it is what it is. Like, times change, bro. You have to learn to adapt, dog. Things change every cycle. It's like almost every 3 years. There's new technology, new platform, every 3 years. You got to figure out a way to adapt and to get people interested, man. Like, this is what it is, man. But to look at other people and be like, oh, why do people like them? That's such a hated ass. Like, that's crazy.
Like Cam and Mace, they're not half-assing it either, where they're just looking for a check. As you point out, they're in the suits and they're in the set, so it's like, that's why I respect their show. They're not just doing it for a quick buck, but they really had this dream and like they went for it.
Yeah, and Treasure said that how much Cam prepares for things, and 95% prepares for things, and it's taking it seriously, and the work ethic it does take. That's what we see with Joe Budden's success was. Like, if you have the work ethic and you're putting the thing in, that can't hate that. Hating on that just looks silly and dumb. But again, I think that I have my moments of frustration, and I think that I keep going down that same path. So I guess starting with you guys, I think I want to try maybe I should.
Again, I'm not really here to cape for Elliott, but maybe Elliott's point is maybe he's not getting the sponsorships or the backing of certain companies that he wish he did when he's put in the work, the sweat equity for over 20, 30 years to be able to get the backing or get the support and get the investment of other companies. Yet these rappers can come in and within a drop of a dime go to Barstool or DraftKings or this, like, man, but I'll put in the work. Why can't I get that, but at the same time, the game is the game. It's all politics at the end of the day. If people don't see value in your personality, it's like, that's on you, bro. And sometimes you may be good and they still don't call you for whatever reason. There's a lot of talented rappers, actors, athletes that never got that call. That were way more talented than whatever we're seeing on our television screen. That's politics. That's life. It sucks, but it is what it is. I don't know how to do a Mace laugh. Like, I don't know how to do a Mace laugh. So
you should text me immediately next time I do it. But I want to try to stop getting myself in these situations. I have a place to be critical now of artists and their moves, just like you guys. But I don't want to critique my peers or things like that, or pocket watch, or get so caught up in the numbers and things like that, and act like if a gambling company doesn't cut me a big bag, then my content's not worthy, and get caught up in that type of stuff. But it's hard not to.
It's definitely tricky, but one of the missing components, because I heard how you said Cam and Mace, they invested a lot of money into it. You know, they had a vision, they put it together. The X factor in all of these things is also the talent that they have, right? Like, there's not many
funny guys.
There's not many. You put them on the same level as a 50 Cent when it came to just personality and cutting ass and cracking jokes and just being a trendsetter. Like, he's a trailblazer in hip hop, right?
Can't teach funny.
For that to
Can't teach funny, baby.
He's always been that guy.
It is what it is. It is really dope. Like, so I was really confused when you said Stephen A. Smith.
No, I said
He walking around like he's
as a
Stephen A.
sports
Smith.
insider,
like
right? Of sorts.
Or that he thinks he's this major sports journalist.
Again, to me, it's almost like, again, I think Stephen A. Smith has become a celebrity now.
Yes.
But Stephen A. Smith is just like me and Reg. He's a journalist. He read for newspapers. He did behind the scenes. Nobody knew what he looked like for many years. Yeah. He had to become that. Skip Bayless helped pull him out of that. So again, there's just a whole different always battle of like the traditional journalists. I don't want journalists to feel like they have to become famous to make a good living. And right now, there's such an imbalance in the marketplace.
That's deep.
That the celebrity is going to get those advantages. So I'm saying
that is an argument that I wish I would have said that in the beginning, nigga. maybe if he wasn't, inebriated, maybe you could have made that argument. You know what I mean? But now that I like that argument. I like because I don't want people to feel, journalists or whoever, feel like they have to exploit themselves. And that's in any aspect of entertainment, or if you're getting involved in entertainment, feel like they have to exploit themselves and become big personalities to make it. I love that messaging. That is the messaging you should be having. I can support that.
Walking around like he's this person because he has now a jump start to be in the area where he has that. And to Stephen A's credit, that was the whole debate in sports with new media, right? All these athletes, Draymond Green, blah, blah. And Stephen A, to his credit, smartly, unlike Elliott, embraces this and goes on their platforms and treats them like they deserve that because they're in the space. And you got to be comfortable where you're at with your space, that you're not looking at that as a threat, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. Also, just remembering, everybody's a fan of you, yo.
Yeah,
I know it's hard to see
I think everybody respects me, but except when I wild out do something. Then
I think people have a certain, I have a certain respect level for Elliott. Like I can't disrespect Elliott in that fact. Like, he really put the work in. Like, he really was in. Like, he was in the trenches. Like, really was doing. Like, he was really doing that. Like, so yeah, but just like, yo, you gotta stop hating, bro. Like, this nigga be hating on Eric. Like, I remember he used to hate, oh my God, Nori, when every time on this podcast, this had to be like within the first couple years, anytime a train went by, he would call it the Elliott Wilson train. It was like Elliott Wilson hate train. That was crazy. Charlemagne, like, you gotta stop hating, bro. You gotta stop looking at what other niggas is doing and just uplift yourself. and try to work on yourself. Like, what I don't understand is you should actually be happy. The way I would look at it is you should be happy to see a Nori, a Gilly, a Joe Budden, happy to see that these artists were able to make a living after their careers, because there are a lot of rappers, all-time greats, that never got that second chance or never got that ability to have a career after hip-hop, especially since hip-hop is such a young man's game that a lot of these rappers don't make it after like the second album. And then when you talk about the legends, the OGs from the 80s and 90s, they never were able to make it out of the 2000s. So you should be happy to see these rappers that were able to make a living and make it to where they are. Like, that should be the goal, right? That should be what you do this for, right? Like, in some aspects, you should want to push the culture forward by pushing these other podcasts or whatever stream of content they do. You should be happy for that. Why are we doubting that? I don't understand it. So yeah, just get it together, Elliott, man. Just get it together, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to lose that respect, because then being older, you seem like, I think Maul said the thing, you seem like the old bitter guy that don't get no play in the park.
For sure.
Yeah, nobody's gonna call my number. It's like, I don't want to be that guy.
And then there's also like a digital footprint when we seen you with Cam. Like, I saw you interview Cam on Rap Radar.
Yeah, we did a great interview
and that
with
was
Cam.
one of my favorite interviews. I remember when that dropped. Cam wasn't as vocal at that point.
That was a turning point.
We didn't really see Cam that much at that point when he interviewed.
I think we always never had the best rapport either, to be frank. You know, I think that people view me, he's had his differences obviously with Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
People view me as somebody cool with Jay-Z. Mm-hmm. You know, I think they had that moment when he came back on the B-Sides 2 show, and that was cool, but then he even said after that he didn't really like the interaction with Jay after that. So I think there's always kind of been not a great rapport with me and him individually. Dipset, Diplomats, I didn't believe at the time, and I was grossly wrong, that they was as nationally successful as they were building. Like, I thought they were just New York successful, and with New York rappers, sometimes I would do split covers. I would say, okay, Jadakiss, I love you, but I can't sell Jadakiss cover in all 50 states at this time when Knock Yourselves Out. So I would do Nelly and do Jadakiss, and I would do Jadakiss in these 10 markets all down the East Coast, and I would do Nelly in the Midwest and all the West Coast, and it'd be hugely successful. I'd split Fat Joe and T.I. I split Beanie Siegel and Lil Wayne.
Damn.
I didn't believe in Lil Wayne. I thought Juvenile was the guy. So Wayne's gonna be the guy.
I actually can understand that argument. Like Wayne, to me, Wayne always had an annoying voice to me. It wasn't until he got older to where he grown into his voice that it was more listenable. But yeah. Like, oh, what is this? Like, who is this? Like, so I can actually understand that.
Like, we didn't believe in Kanye. It's like, so you make those mistakes. So I kept sleeping on Dipset, and then they would do source covers and things like that. And then when it became undeniable is when Jim had his success with Ballin'. Right. So, okay, Jim got We Ballin'. Yeah. Let's do the Dipset cover. Then come to find out,
what a time.
As 50 Cent exposed, at that time, Cam and Jim weren't good.
Yeah.
So then it's like, if you're Cam, it's like, you're going to give me this look now, but it's like, it's not so, it never was the best rapport in general, but the outside layer of that was, to do that Rap Radar one was a key thing for him, because he wasn't super media friendly back then, didn't embrace the podcast space like that. And it was a great interview. So there's respect there. But, you know, I definitely, and again, it was unprompted. I went at them. It was unprompted. Yeah. So it was just wrong.
Well, I need you to get a message to Cameron.
All right.
What's up? I just need you to get a message to Cameron, because, again, I remember there was a clip that was circulating where he was shouting out a ton of people who's in the space who kind of helped him and assisted him. He named like Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah.
He named Gillian Wallow, Stephen A. Smith. Like he named a lot of people in our space that he was like, yo, when I wanted to get into it, these are the guys who kind of pushed me in that direction or gave me the guidance that I needed when I didn't really know. Because this is a new game for everybody, especially him at that time. But even somebody like you and him, and I know, I'm sure you saw it on Instagram, he got the jokes and all of this shit. But this is also an opportunity, if he's ever willing, and if you're ever willing, for us to show, we can make things right? Like, I got it wrong, and you said it on this podcast, and I'm sure he has the respect for you as a journalist and what it is that you built, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like what you said about him. You can't deny his career as an artist.
And they ran a clip on the other side, and they thought it was a response to me, but it was a clip they already had where they were talking about, look, like, hate it or love it, we're the new source, we're the new leaders. So, Cam has a competitive fire.
For sure.
So should he feel like he's Stephen A. Smith? He should. He's from hip hop. He has that fire. So, but again, to your point, what he says, if he does do all his due diligence with the shit, researching things, putting his own money up, work ethic, putting the time in, professionalism, got Mace focus, showing like what would we think Mace is gonna have a job and go to a set every day and do
in
that, like you said, in a
personality.
suit. You know what I'm saying? And Mace would give us shit and go away.
Yeah.
You know what Mace do back.
Now you get to see him on a consistent level.
Yeah.
Right,
so
right.
and them to repair their relationship, right? So all those things are great things. But I have to stop measuring myself. Like you guys said, even with your that's why it's your strategy. You look at your own data and you get motivated by that.
Right.
And that's how you look at what your situation is. So it's really about you running your own race, whether it's cliche. I've struggled with that, with the downtime too, like to respect the journey. I get so excited to want to get to the win and the victory that sometimes you just have to appreciate the journey. Yeah. And it may take me longer this run. Right. To get Elliott Wilson experience or the bigger picture where I want it to be, but I have to stay dedicated to it.
And that's the thing, dog. Like, Elliott Wilson, like I said, has been in this game over 20, damn near 30 years. Like, to able to have a life, to have a livelihood that lasts this long and change through the time. Media and technology has changed so much over the years. And for the most part, Elliott has been able to adapt and change every single time. Every single time. Like, I remember Rap Radar came out and he was doing the Crown series. And he was like had the hottest hip-hop site that had all the interviews and all the news. You had B-Dot with the top 10 list pissing people off every year. Like, he was doing the damn thing. Like, sometimes your time is over. Sometimes your time is up. The time is up, time is now. You can't see me, your time is now. Like, sometimes your time is up, dog. And that's okay. Or it's just need to adapt, but don't be looking at other people and what they're doing and just be hating, bro. Like, yeah, and I think it just go to Elliott Wilson's insecurity, and that's part of that's just part of human emotion. All of us are insecure in some aspect about something, and I get that. But yeah, it's just you gotta just when you got a camera and a microphone, you gotta check that sometimes, man. But yeah, I get it. Like, I definitely get it, the insecurity and feeling like you're being passed by, and you've seen all these people that you help elevate pass you, and it's like, what the hell? Like, where? Like, what? So I get that, but it's like, man, you just gotta find a way to adapt, or hell, be a guest on one of these podcasts. Like, try to network. That's what all this is. Most successful things in life are not usually ain't really got nothing to do with talent. It's got to do with networking and who you know. So, hell, you just, try to, shake some hands, kiss some babies or something. You be all right. you got the sources, you got you got the names you can use to try to help you, bro. Yeah, that's Elliott Wilson. Copping, please. Copping, please. But shout out to him, for recognizing his faults and what he said in that podcast. He was wilding on Rory and Maul. So shout out to that, being a grown man and, owning up to what he did. But Elliott, you gotta stop hating, dog. Put down the hater rate, bro. You do this every year. Just put the hater rate down. Work on yourself and work on your brand. Work on your whatever you're doing. But like, comment, subscribe, shout out things are the things. Ain't gotta go home. Do gotta get it stepping. Peace.